Hello, Bible readers. It is Friday, the 13th of November, and we are reading from Acts chapter 5, verses 1 through 42, and Psalm 11 and Psalm 59. As much as I'm enjoying 1 Samuel, and I really am, it is nice to leave it for a second and have a couple Psalms to dive into. To go to Acts first, we've got as much as Barnabas gave us a positive example of how one can respond to the prophetic authority that the apostles have, and so Barnabas responds positively. Ananias and Sapphira, they respond negatively, and we see what the consequences are. As it says in my commentary, several elements in Luke's account remind us of the story of Achan in the book of Joshua, when, in defiance of the command to place all the inhabitants and goods of Jericho under the ban, Achan held something back for himself. Israel therefore suffered at the hands of its enemies. And there's a lot of parallels here. It is a direct testing of the Spirit at work in the apostles, a direct challenge to their authority. That's what Ananias and Sapphira are accomplishing. Like Judas, this couple have Satan enter into their hearts. Like Judas, they break fellowship by seeking something of their own. And what they did not recognize is that they were lying to God, not just to humans. They're not recognizing that these humans, these apostles, have the power of God. They're God's representatives. That's what Luke wants to paint here, is there is greater authority and power in these people than simple human power and authority. The power of his prophetic presence is so palpable that when he states the truth to each of the conspirators, they, of course, die. So it's quite a dramatic scene there at the end of that story. But then we have verses 12 to 42 to talk about as well. Luke's point is to clearly demonstrate that Peter and the other apostles are the rulers of the 12 tribes of Israel. I've talked about this already in previous days, but that is the point of this part. Everything in this description is heightened and extreme, but it can be understood simply in terms of the opening line: great signs and wonders were being performed through the apostles among the people. The followers, they're more powerful even than when Jesus was alive, because now Jesus has been exalted and is at the right hand of God, and so now great power is being wielded through these people. I wanted to talk about Gamaliel. Gamaliel sometimes gets lionized as somebody who really maybe gets it. Not so much. He was a part of the condemnation of Jesus, as he's a member of the Sanhedrin. So he's been a part of this whole scene. He knows who Peter and John are. He advises, of course, a wait and see attitude, because his point is he hopes or thinks that Jesus and his followers will be reduced to the same status as those many other would-be prophets and kings. He's missed the entire message of Jesus. Jesus's followers are not being scattered like these other examples that he gives. This is the main difference, right? Gamaliel's advice, therefore, is an example of bad faith. He's a hypocrite, as Scripture would talk of him. He wants to appear to be righteous, to have all the right convictions, but he won't respond to the prophetic call before him. He's rejecting God's plan, and basically leads the council. As the council listens to Gamaliel, they won't listen in faith to the prophetic power that Peter and John are offering. And so they are being cut out from God's chosen people. Real quick on these Psalms, because I'm learning a lot in the Acts of the Apostles, and so that's why I'm sharing so much with you about those. But Psalm 11, this is a song of trust, a prayer for help, but it's unique. It's a unique sort of complaint. Some call it a psalm of contest, suggesting that an accused person could be given a chance in the context of a worship service to use this psalm as their defense. The The psalmist expresses confidence in God's sovereign righteousness and entrusts his destiny or her destiny to God. The psalmist chooses flight, not flight, but faith. And this is, fight or flight. This is a faith or flight. And in this psalm is where one could choose faith. Psalm 59 reminds us of the evil in ourselves and in our society. It also reminds us of a deeper reality, an alternative world that's driven not by the lust for power, but by the power of love. This world is the world of God's reign. And so the context, of course, is a chaotic world full of awfulness, but we are reminded that God's reign is real. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.